We in the six.
Right.
We in the six. We live in the six. Know what I'm saying? And yo, six is doing that. Let's be real.
Thank you for tuning in to the On Blast podcast. Where as always, we just like to give you our thoughts.
It's just my thoughts, man.
Right or wrong, just what we're feeling at the time.
Don't bother.
So speaking of fresh,
All right.
looking fresh.
What do you got?
We're gonna start with your boy Joey Bats.
Woo.
What's old is new again.
Well, not quite as fresh as he could have been.
True.
I think.
True. I mean, I guess we got to start from where this whole story went back to last year.
Yeah.
At the start of
No hometown discount.
right, no
No new
hometown
friends.
discount.
No new friends. No hometown discount.
He was very strict in what he was saying he wanted, what he felt he was worth,
And what he thought he could get.
what he thought he could get, and he was about 100 million off.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Hey, I mean, people are mad at him for that. But
No.
honestly, my opinion is, what's he supposed to say? He's supposed to lowball himself? No, you're supposed to have confidence in yourself to live up to expectations.
Yeah.
And then you hope that it works out. Did it work out for him? Not really. But I mean, hey, you still got to come back. You still got another chance to redeem yourself and get that big contract.
What a great
He signed a
deal.
one-year deal.
What a
right?
great deal
Essentially.
for the Jays.
Yeah.
For the Jays. It's a great deal.
It's funny how things worked out too, because the thing for me with this whole deal with the Jays was Jays fans about a month ago were all like, screw Jose. We don't need him. He's washed. He's this, he's that. And then you talk to them this week and it's like, well, if we get Jose back, that just fills out the middle of our lineup.
Not only
It's
that,
like, how did that change? Like, what changed in a week?
it was a
Haters.
celebration. It was a coronation, if you were watching sports media in Canada, of Jose Bautista choosing Toronto and coming back after 3-4 months of him going anywhere, even looking under the rock that is the Baltimore Orioles, seeing if he can't beat him, can he join him?
Yeah.
Nobody wanted him. And you know what? Toronto got a really friendly deal,
The Jays
especially
did
for that first year. Whew.
The Jays did get a really good deal on Jose. And for me, the thing is hey, he does fit right back in the middle of your lineup. And there's going to be a lot of pressure on him, obviously, heading into next year. But the way that everything played out, there's a couple guys like Donaldson's Donaldson. You expect him to be.
Slot him in there.
For sure. I'm more like on Tulo and Russ next year. Those guys need to rake. And beyond that, obviously, your boy, Kendrys Morales.
That's who I'm really interested. I think he's a good hitter. He's a good hitter, man.
But this Toronto, we know how like this Toronto fan base, how crazy it gets at times. And to me, Kendrys Morales, if he doesn't rake right from the get-go, people are going to be upset. Because you know how much they loved Edwin.
Yeah.
They loved the pair.
It's
and
tough
there's
to
gonna be
make
that unfair comparison.
It's tough to make that a 1-for-1 comparison.
It's definitely
really
not
tough.
fair. It's definitely not a fair comparison, but it's not going to stop people from being ignorant.
No,
right?
but now, so you have to hope that Jose Bautista can give you 150 games in right field, I think, right? You've only got one DH spot, and I don't see Morales playing a lot of first base.
True.
And means that you got to have Jose in right field.
There was also talk today of can Jose play first a bit? They asked Gibby about that, and Gibby kind of said, maybe, when they brought it up to him last year, he kind of said he'd be willing to do anything, whatever the team needs and that stuff. But I think the way that the team is currently set up, he has to play right field.
Yeah.
And he has to play it really well.
I always love when teams go, we'll just move Hanley Ramirez to first base. Oh, we'll just move X and Y to first base. I always think of Moneyball.
Yeah.
And the guy playing Ron Washington, he's like, we'll just teach him how to play first base. He's like, that's very, very hard. First base is a very hard position.
It's way more difficult than people give it credit for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
You're not just standing out there with your glove hoping the ball comes to you, right?
So what are the expectations for Jose next year? Like, I mean, we expected him to rake last year because he was trying to earn his big deal.
After what he went through this year with like lows in plate appearances, games, home runs, RBIs, batting averages, all down since he's come to the Blue Jays. Yeah. I don't think that the expectations have to be all that high. I think they have to do with staying on the field. Mm-hmm. And when we were going through the Jose Bautista drama of last year, and he wants 5 years, everybody said, well, maybe that's not a bad idea. He takes such great care of his body.
Yeah.
So let's see if he can do that. Can he stay on the field? Can he play right field on a consistent basis? And after that, we know he can swing the bat. Like,
We know he can rake.
he can rake. And listen, don't expect 50 home runs, 130 RBIs, you know. But if he can hit 25, I think with this lineup, it might not be that bad. And with the pitching staff that you're pretty much returning from last year, it was one of the best in the AL last year, if not the best starting staff in the American League. You don't need to rake all that much. But if you can have your guy, if you can have the player that the fans will come to see and rally behind, I think that's important for the Jays. So I think that the 1 year with a possibility of 3 or 2 or whatever they want to do, I think it's a great deal for the Jays. My question is if Anthopoulos was still running the team and not Shapiro, would they have caved and given him 5 years?
That's interesting because I don't know if you heard the part that came out just today, but what that storyline was, apparently the Rogers bosses, or Edward Rogers, went to
Eddie, not Teddy, Eddie.
Eddie went to Shapiro and Atkins and said, hey, get this deal done.
Really?
Don't worry about the money side of it. The money will still be there to do whatever you guys want to do after that, but get this deal done. And I think that was a part that Jays fans, it's refreshing to hear. I also think it's something they wanted to get out, because I think it's refreshing.
Because
right?
we had forget 6 months, we had a year of Rodgers just want to spend the money on this team.
Or at least that was a perception that was out there.
Yeah,
Whether that was true or
narrative.
not, that was a narrative that was out there that Rodgers didn't want to spend the money, whether that was fair or unfair. But here you have the story angle that, hey, they went to him and said, the money is there, get this guy signed, bring him back.
Yeah.
Because I also think the PR nightmare was when the genius move by Jose's agent was leaking, talks have resumed with the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah.
Because
and the Orioles. And the Orioles came back around.
Hold on.
Too.
It's the Cleveland Indians, because under no circumstances would this have been okay if Edwin and Jose both left and went to the Cleveland Indians.
No.
Like, the city would riot. The city would be like so up in arms. My whole thing with the Jays off season was that there were certain guidelines that they said they wanted to meet, right? They wanted to get faster.
Yep.
They wanted to get more left-handed hitting. They haven't really done. They didn't do that, right? And it's like,
you certainly didn't get
Edwin.
faster.
Yeah, you didn't get faster. Kendrys Morales is not running the relay with Andre DeGrasse. That's not a thing that's going to happen. But you look at their team and they got worse. Like, this is the thing that, like, they got worse.
But you knew
they were not as good.
You knew that they were gonna get worse though, because Edwin was gonna leave.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it was gonna get. What they didn't do was get like exponentially. They're not like bottom of the barrel.
No.
They're trying to find some creative ways to replace those numbers that Eddie came up with.
Like,
and maybe Steve Pearce is legit.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't
on an everyday basis.
And my thing too, relative to last year, I think they're worse. They're not a lot worse.
Right.
I mean, that stuff's still so dependent upon, how the pitching staff moves. Can the pitching staff do the same thing it did last year?
Yeah.
There's so many other things, or so many other factors that plays into what's going to happen. But I mean, so far, so good. At least you got Jose back. Because if Jose's not back,
then you're
in trouble,
especially with the fans. But listen, if you ever,
especially this fan,
if Jays fans out there who are watching, who are listening to this, if you ever get a little sad, a little, what could have been with the Jays offseason, just remember that I'm a Philadelphia Phillies fan, and our 3 big moves in the offseason so far have been Howie Kendrick, Clay Buchholz, and Michael Saunders.
Your boy, Michael Saunders.
So before you start whining about Kendrys Morales and Steve Pearce, just remember that.
So it's pretty good. It's pretty good perspective. Perspective is always key in all situations, right? What do you think about Jose Bautista and just a relationship that he had with the city? Because he wanted to come back the entire time, right?
Of course.
Like, that was a tough part to this whole situation. And that's why
He kept his Twitter left field Toronto Blue Jays the whole time when he was on the open market.
He wanted to come back.
Yeah.
And I mean, we talked about this earlier, a couple weeks ago on this podcast, right? Where we were discussing like what happens, because I didn't want either of them to leave. Right. I wanted them both to stay because I'm nostalgic.
Yeah, exactly.
And I see that nostalgia with Jose as well.
A naive baseball fan that they will all break your hearts.
For sure. But I wanted him to stay. And I'm glad that he's here so we can keep seeing the bat flip for at least another year. Right?
The back pedal in Seattle.
Yeah. I like that. I like the fact of, homegrown. Like, even though he wasn't drafted by us, but he became a star here.
And
right?
Toronto was really the one that took the chance on him.
Exactly. Right? And you always got to give shouts to Cito. Because if you go back in history, he'll always tell you that year when Cito came back and the hitting coach, I want to say it was Dwayne Murphy, but they were the ones that really like focused Jose in and got him to the approach that you see now where he, takes a lot of pitches. There's something that he's looking for and he's waiting for that pitch and he's patient. And when he gets that,
he crushes.
He's unloading and he's trying to just hit bombs.
He's crushing it. Yeah.
So that's one Toronto team, and the other thing.
I'm excited for baseball to start, man.
Yeah, I'm excited for baseball to start, and
we got
the
NFL
thing we can't
playoffs
forget is
college basketball. And
but the thing
baseball.
we can't forget though is there's still time for other things to happen.
Absolutely.
Right? Like they can still make other moves. They can still make a trade. They can still do so many other things that could improve the team between now and the lineup that we see on opening day. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
On blast.